Okay, welcome to episode 23. We're going to be changing up the format a little bit. And so before we get into the podcast, we're going to give you a quick rundown of what we talked about. That way you could decide if this is worth 30 minutes of your time or if it's better to check back next week to see if we're seeing something else interesting. So in this week's episode, Joey attends a wedding. I make a bunch of tomato sauce. We talk about 3 headlines.
We don't do that on the episode, by the way.
Oh, no. We just talk about it.
Yeah.
We tackled 3 big headlines that happened in Toronto last week. First one being the rate hold. The second one being council's plans to increase and make the city a little bit more expensive for those living in it. Yep. And we end the episode talking about an interesting thing that happened in the rental market.
That's right.
Where a landlord increased the rent by $7,500 a month and was totally allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savell.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Alrighty.
Okay.
Joey.
Mark.
What's up with the style, man?
I know.
Kindred hearts and like breaking hearts with the flow. If you're not watching us on YouTube, we're wearing some pretty fly maroon shirts.
Yeah, this is Maroon Day.
Yeah. Maroon 5 Day?
We're Maroon 2.
Maroon 2 Day. Yeah. Completely unplanned. Yeah. Kind of weird, but I like it. How you been, man?
I've been good. Coming off of a big celebration.
Ooh, where'd you go?
Yeah. Celebrating a wedding.
Nice.
Yeah. Celebrating a wedding to Dan and Roxy, purchasers of Le Treviso condo.
Shout out Dan and Roxy, purchasers of Le Treviso condo. That's amazing. Were they engaged when they bought the place or were they?
No,
they were dating.
They were just dating. Yeah.
Life moves fast.
It moves very quickly.
Good for them.
Yeah. I sent you, actually sent you a picture of him and the thing. I was like, look at this, full circle, man.
So I was making sauce yesterday.
Yeah.
And I got the picture and it just put me in a place where my heart broke. And I'm like, I can't look at this right now. I was like, no, not my sweet little Treviso condominium. It was so perfect. I had to stuff it back in my pants. But it looked really, they did good job with the space. And it was good to see that it's gone to the right people. And I'm so happy that they're.
Yeah. It's funny because, I mean, we've talked about this before, but one of the deciding factors at the end of the negotiation process was the fact that they were a couple and they were serious. And the other group that we were competing against were investors.
Yeah. The story definitely helped them win the place. The price was a big component of it, but who they were as people I was more like, this is who I want to work with. Yeah. So congrats to them. That's amazing.
Love it.
Starting it off with love. I love it.
Yeah. How about you? How was your week?
I'm broken. I made sauce. It's a love-hate relationship with September, the month of September.
Yep.
So we did 72 bushels of tomatoes.
Hey, that's a lot of bushels.
Dude, that is back-breaking.
Like, how many people did you say were with you?
20 to 30 people.
Yeah, that's a big group, man.
Yeah. Only a couple minor burns on the arms this year, which is good. We did it in record time though. It was a really efficient process.
I was gonna say you must be like in a warehouse type or like a factory setting at that point. Everyone's got their jobs.
Kinda.
is it all just all over the place?
It's chaos. Hey, move that. Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Imagine that with 20 Italian guys, all professionals in making sauce, and everyone's got an opinion. So I've learned to just put your head down and shut up and just do what they say and don't even ask. Don't suggest anything. Just turn the sauce. And ironically enough, if any of my friends are listening to this, they'll know I can't talk too highly. I burnt the one thing of sauce, and everyone let me have it. I was like, I'm not going to say it was my fault because there was other elements at play, but I burnt it this year. So I'm the black sheep this year. I wasn't good. So, we're back to school, back to work. It's the first official kind of week of the fall market. And I don't know, how are you finding inventory?
Not as much as I thought was going to hit.
Kind of same. Yeah.
I was expecting to see the flood come through after the Labor Day weekend, but it didn't.
There was a couple listings, but it wasn't like nothing near what we thought would have happened. And maybe it's going to come the next week or two, but kind of a subtle start to the.
So actually, we should. So we're going to do this differently on this one, but I figured let's kind of just talk about what we're going to talk about really quickly.
Yeah.
I know we're doing it in different style, but still, we are getting into a couple of news headlines
Yeah,
on this one.
I think it was quite busy with the headlines. A lot of real estate related stuff happened.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is maybe just talk about that and kind of expand to a little bit more than solely what's in the newspaper and kind of give our take on some of those things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Another squirrel?
No squirrel. It's actually someone or a person. I don't know who they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, cool. You never know what's going to happen on the Mark and Joey show. Let me tell you, it's not airplanes and squirrels. It's randoms just walking by. But that's why you tune in. All right. Let's maybe start with the good news.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Lay it on us. What happened?
This last week, we got an official rate hold from the Bank of Canada.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, indeed.
One of my favorite Instagram posts is when I see your story come up.
And that one.
It gets stuck in my head for the whole day.
Yeah. So that's the Miami Children's Choir singing Hallelujah. If you're on Spotify, look it up. It is the most glorious, uplifting track I've ever heard. And I decided to record a quick video claiming, the rate hold being such a glorious thing. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they as we kind of talked about, it was expected they were going to hold it, and lo and behold, the hold is here.
Well, it kind of was and it kind of wasn't. For most of August, everyone's like, it's going up.
Yeah.
And then the last week, it's like, actually, no, it's not.
Yeah. So, okay. So let me, that's exactly
what happened.
It was very much leaning in the other direction until like the weekend before.
Yeah. It's like, actually, it's not going to happen. Now, I don't think we're in the clear. I think we'll probably have one more rate hike before the end of the year.
I can see it happening.
Yeah.
They're also like, it was funny. They held it, and then the next day, it was immediately that they were like, everybody just don't get too excited because we're still keeping an eye. Like, don't think this is the end. We're not peaking yet. They're keeping that idea in mind where if you are looking to shop for a mortgage, be wary still. It's not over.
Yeah. And I feel like they're kind of just like, they have to be so careful with what they say because every word is scrutinized.
Yes.
And everyone is trying to make a prediction based on they've been crystal clear with what they were planning to do, and they did the opposite. So now people are like really reaching like, what do they mean when they say this? And it goes back to the old adage, no one knows nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, like in the words of Freddie Mercury, nothing really matters. Yeah. It's all just, fly off the cuff.
Beautifully said.
Yeah. So that's really good news if you are in a variable rate mortgage. Your rates are your payments are gonna stay the same at least until October 25th, the next time the Bank of Canada is gonna meet.
Yep.
And if you have a line of credit, same thing holds true. The rates are not fluctuating on this announcement. And if you're in a fixed mortgage, you're good.
Yeah.
This means nothing to you. Yeah. Just turn this part of the podcast out whenever we're talking about Bank of Canada. It doesn't affect you at all. So what I'm kind of advising people right now, I think you should be trying to lock in a rate hold if you're buying.
Yep.
Do a 90-day rate hold. And if you've got a renewal coming up, I wouldn't reach for a 5-year. Maybe just do a 3-year.
Yeah.
Because I think there's still a lot of uncertainty. And if you get a decent rate in the 3-year, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, 100%. I think the idea behind it, and I think the idea behind it is once we really see that economic slowdown and the Bank of Canada needs to do something to stimulate the economy again, they're going to start dropping the rates.
Yeah.
And it's basically that 5-year stretch is a pretty long time for that bubble to burst.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to share something interesting. So about a year and a half ago, Scotia called me to renew my mortgages. The time was coming up, but there were still about 6 to 8 months before I had to make a decision. And they were aggressively calling.
Right.
And they're like, they were giving me crazy low rates on the variable. And I thought I was king of the world. I'm like, I told the wife, look how smart I am. Look what I did for us. Lo and behold, I think they had an inkling that rates were going to steadily increase. And so that's something that's always going to stick with me going forward. Now the inverse is happening. They're calling me again. And they're saying, your payments, if you're worried about making them, we can lock you into a 5-year fixed. So I suspect they also have an inkling that rates are probably going to come down a bit.
Yeah.
And they're trying to really get whoever they can to make that conversion and get them for the next 5 years at these kind of historically high rates, at least in the last 2 decades.
Yeah. I think the general consensus is that if we're not at the peak, we're probably very close to the peak.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the mentality behind it. And within that 3-year stretch is hopefully we'll be back down to a normal place.
Yeah. And some of the headlines are saying they're, take it for what it's worth, March is when we'll probably see the first drop or the first cut. Shout out Chris Mulder. He's often got a really good.
I every single time I tune into those. Love it.
Yeah. He does the mortgage updates every time the Bank of Canada comes out, but he's got a good adage. I don't think he created it, but he says it all the time. So I'll give him credit for it. It's that rates go up on an elevator and down on an escalator.
I like that.
So they shoot up quick, but they take some time to come down.
Yep.
So whether they pause for 1 or 2 announcements or, if this is what they hold for the next little bit, it's not going to drop incredibly fast. Yeah. So in the end, just do what makes most sense to you. You know, risk tolerance is something everyone has an individual take on.
Yeah.
And if these high payments are something you're not comfortable with on a variable, lock in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to sleep good at night.
That's exactly it. Yeah. You want to be staring at those bank announcements every single time they're coming up. We still got 2 more this year.
Do we? Is that what it is too?
Yeah. There's October 25th.
Okay.
Is the next one. And then there's one more. I think it's in December, the last one.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a... we already got a pickle juice. You want to make it? I think at least one more hike will come.
Before the end of the year.
I think so.
If it comes, I think it'll happen the next one.
October? Yeah, I think you're right.
I think, December, I feel like if they're going to hold it, it'll hold it in December.
And December's historically slow and, yeah. I'm with you on that. Speaking of not sleeping well.
That's a good transition right there.
The second headline I kind of want to touch upon is it looks like city council is going to be making our lives a little bit more expensive.
They are, aren't they? Yeah. I like what you wrote here.
Yeah.
I said, whoever got Olivia Chow, whoever guessed tax increase for Olivia Chow on their bingo card.
Yeah.
Kudos.
They guessed that right. I mean, we had our whole episode when we kind of talked about her plan and the vision she has for the next 3.5 years. And in it, it was no surprise. The taxes are going up one way or other.
Yeah.
Either a municipal tax is coming, property tax increase is probably also coming.
Yeah.
And what definitely is coming is an increase to those buying over $3 million.
This is
land transfer tax.
Officially approved.
Officially approved, taking into effect January 1st, 2024.
Yeah.
So if you're buying a property over $3 million, you will be paying more.
Yep.
So our advice to you is 1, call us before then, and 2, buy before then.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be paying an extra 1% after January 1st.
That's right, and it goes up incrementally. So it's 3 million to 4 million, it's 1%, and then 4 to 5, it's 1%, and then it's a tiered system basically.
Yeah, and 20 million.
Yeah, there's a certain point where I think when it hits 5 million, it goes from 5 to 10. You're hitting 1%, and then 10 to 20.
Yeah,
it hits another.
Yeah, this is what I don't really understand. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, the city's broke. Weren't we broke like 9 months ago before this Miro election? Like, why didn't no one tell us this prior to? Like, all of a sudden we're broke?
Yeah.
One of the interesting ideas that was pitched was adding another tax on all things purchased. So right now our HST is 13%.
Yeah.
And one of the proposals is add 1% to make it 14% in Toronto. I think that's 4D chess. I don't think she actually thinks that's going to be approved.
Okay.
Because Doug Ford is the one who has to approve it.
Right.
And we're not going to get into the Greenbelt in this episode because that's a whole other can of worms. But he's not polling very, very well at the moment.
No.
So I feel it's kind of like a strategy. Like, let's flip it to the government, to the Ford government, and put the onus on them. They're going to say no.
Yeah.
So only other option is, well, I guess we got to increase the property taxes.
Yeah. It's all the game. It's all the game you got to play.
Yeah, I see that coming from a mile away. I kind of suggested in that Olivia Chow episode that property taxes would probably go up.
I agree. Yeah.
And I think there is a little bit of room for an increase. We pay incredibly low compared to the other cities.
100%. Yeah.
But I think it's going to be more aggressive than we initially anticipated it because of these now budget shortfalls that we apparently have and didn't have 9 months ago.
So what were her proposals? There was a couple of things that she mentioned that she's trying to put together. One of them was increasing the HST tax to create like a municipal version. So we get an extra 1%. The other was, which is now happening, taxing there was another one that she wanted to put together, which was doing a foreign buyers tax.
Yeah.
For the municipal foreign buyers.
Yeah, it's for the city of Toronto. So if you're a foreigner buying in Toronto, you're going to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, which they've already increased it twice since 2022.
Yeah.
It started at 15%, and in 2022 it went up twice, and then there was a foreign buyers ban. So it went up twice, but then nothing really got made of it because they banned it altogether. So
and didn't they change it? Like there's a big loophole now or something?
Yeah, it's something. It's as easy, or maybe not easy, but is the right word to use. But it's as big of a loophole as all you need is to have a work permit longer than 2 years.
Right.
So, which I mean, like a lot of
then you're exempt from the foreign buyers tax.
Yeah. A couple other things that gets you around it, but like, that's the kind of the
biggest loophole.
The biggest loophole.
All this is just for headlines, like
1,000,000%.
Yeah, it's not really impacting things, and I don't know. We'll see. I like some of the other ideas that some of the councillors have suggested. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah.
A lottery.
A lottery.
like what? Talk about thinking outside of the box. We're going to introduce a lottery. Like online gambling isn't a problem enough. Let's just throw another element into the mix of it to help the city get rich. We're going to let you gamble a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a solid one.
One of the ones that I think we've discussed and talked about, which was kind of good, was adding a tax on the highways.
Oh yeah.
A toll on the highways.
Yeah.
I'm for that. It doesn't have to be a lot, but like, Jesus, a little bit I'm okay with.
Highway tolls you're on board
I'm
with?
okay with, yeah.
I got my qualm with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When you're in the city, it's like when you're actually living in the city, it's not a big deal. For anybody on the outskirts in the GTA, that use is just like detrimental.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be, I mean, yeah, sure. It's a little bit of money, but like that's a tough
pill for anyone outside of the city to swallow. All right. Let me flip that argument on its head.
Okay.
Imagine what's a very Joey thing. Okay. Imagine you got a home gym and I don't live in your home, but I keep using the gym. I don't pay you for it. How would you feel about that? At some point you'd be like, Mark, man, like cough up a couple dollars here. Not much, but a bit, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I think the point of the highway tax will do a couple things. It will improve traffic.
Yep.
It will limit the amount of these people who are like, let's just drive into the city for the weekend or something like that. Like, if you're going to go in with a little bit more purpose, because there is going to be a cost associated with using those highways, and it doesn't need to be $50 a shot. It could be something as simple as $2. But you see how many cars are sitting on the highway.
Yeah,
that's a huge revenue generating tool.
Yeah, yeah. I think to myself driving on the highway and just staring at a river of brake lights, and then knowing that I also paid for that.
I hear you. No, I get it. I totally hear you on that. But like, what if every shawarma you buy, you had to pay an extra 1% on?
I'll take the highway tolls all day.
Thank you. And that's how you win an argument with Joey. No, but I get your sentiment. Like, look, this is not the time to be increasing money more, like expenses more.
Yeah, just in general, I think it's
it's just like such a hard time. People are like with the 6% mortgage rates and everything else we got going on, inflation. It's like, and now you're going to make our lives that much more difficult and affordable. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Do you want to say something?
No. But
I was going to shout out Brad Bradford. He was one of the counselors who was running against Olivia Chow. So naturally, he's going to be a critic of some of her policies. And what he suggested is, let's get a third-party institution to come in and look at the services we offer and maybe see if we can scale back on some of the services so we don't have so many offerings and therefore it'd be a little bit less to run the city.
I like that.
And that idea was shot down.
Really?
Just shot down. We don't need people looking at our affairs was more or less, I'm adding, but that's more or less what was said.
That's so ridiculous.
Like,
that's absolutely ridiculous.
Just do it. Like, let's just see. We don't have to, like, I'm all for the library. I'm a big public library supporter. I use it still to this day. Yeah. So like, I'm not for making these crazy cuts, but let's just see. Maybe we can be a little bit creative or like scale back certain things.
1,000,000%. There's no doubt in my mind that there's plenty of things in that realm that there's too much budget for.
Yeah.
That some inefficiency is just not there.
Yeah.
That we can scale back on.
Yeah. And I feel like that should be kind of done like every 4 years. Like, let's look at how the city is operating and if there is room for improvements, or maybe we shift some of the money to more important things. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a cut. Like, it could be a shift.
Yeah, realistically, yeah. It should, honestly, I agree with you. It should be a mandatory thing that happens every 4 years. Every 4 years. It makes sense.
But you know why it won't happen? Because it makes sense. All right. Oh, you had something about the vacant tax. Two other elements with the city trying to raise more money. So I didn't know this, but if you park right now using Green P, the max they can charge you is $5.
I saw that. I didn't know that either.
I feel like I've paid more.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen like $5 for 30 minutes in some of those downtown spots.
Yeah. 1,000,000% I've had. I mean, I feel like I've seen worse than that.
But in the parking lots, yes.
No, but Green P, like city
Green P, apparently there was a $5 cap that is also getting scrapped.
Is that that's official?
I don't know, but it's definitely on the agenda, so it's probably going to be a thing. But like, my question is, like, that was such a gray area. It's like, whoa, what's the cap now?
Yeah,
they just said they're canceling the cap.
It's just going to be wide open,
I think.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll be on it. Well, I like these kind of episodes where we recap the headlines.
Yeah.
We'll monitor this. This can be something.
Yeah, we can bring it to like what the actual things ended up.
Yeah, just kind of loop back and give our loyal listeners an update on where the heck the city is with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And
the last thing she mentioned, sorry, I'll just bring up, is the raising the vacant home tax.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, man. What's your thoughts on the vacant home tax?
This one doesn't bug me.
Okay.
I think it doesn't bug me because it's like, okay, first off, there was 2,100 homes the first year.
Okay.
So it was not that many.
Yeah.
Raising it to 3%, you're obviously like tripling the budget.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'll do some
tripling
damage.
The income potentially earned.
The income, yes. Yeah. It could do some damage, and I don't see the harm in it.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, for two guys who chose the same shirt, I think we have difference of opinions, but that's okay. We're all for open discourses. My only beef is this, like, you work so hard to get a house. If I decide to leave it vacant for whatever reason, let's say I travel or I'm out of the country, like, I don't necessarily think it's the city's right to charge me more because it's vacant. I'm still paying my property tax. I'm still paying my utilities. I'm still paying my mortgage on it. If I can do all those three things, why do you get a little bit more because I decide to leave it vacant?
Okay, I see where you're coming from. You know what? And the argument that I'll make against myself as well.
You could hold your ground.
No, because I'm thinking about this now as you brought that up, which is if you, like you said, if it's not something that's your primary residence, but it is something you still do want to visit, like, you know, a handful of months of the year, and you have to rent it out because the landlord tenant board favors tenants so much.
Yeah,
it would be if I didn't want that to happen every time I'm gone. Yeah, it's a very risky thing to do.
I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right. Where it's like it's now a bylaw that if I have my house vacant, I've got to pay more for it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
But maybe it's
with only 2,100 homes, I don't think it's doing that much.
Yeah, we're going to see about enforcement. Like maybe that seems like a really low number of homes that are vacant out of all the homes in Toronto. Yeah. And I know not everyone was truthful with this application. Plus also like there is a lot of exemptions. So like if an old person goes to a senior's home for 2 years, they can still claim it as their
primary.
Yeah, they don't have to claim the vacant home tax if someone's deceased. So I think that's why it is a little bit low as well. But I don't know if this is the best use of income generating plans.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm biased. Like you brought up a good point. To be sitting on the highway and know you still pay tolls, that would kind of sit unwell with me. And I think I'm saying the same thing with, like, it's my house. I paid for it. And yet I still have to pay a tax if I choose to leave it vacant.
Right.
Not many people can leave a home vacant. So if they choose to, like, I don't think there's enough out there where you're going to make a big stream of money.
Right.
But whatever. Do you want to get onto
the next piece?
The next headline? Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. This was an interesting one.
Yeah, this was a news feed that went off, and it was through I think it was through TikTok. Was it a TikTok video that started as like, or was it always a news?
I feel like this is probably a TikTok generated story. I'm not factually standing by it, but this sounds like a story that probably started on TikTok. The media picked up on it, and then it went wildfire.
Yeah.
Get into it. What are we talking about?
Okay, so we're talking about the two. They were sisters.
Sisters, yeah.
There were the two sisters that rent increased 7,000 extra for the next upcoming year.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, that sounds egregious. That sounds crazy. If I was in their shoes, it would be really unfortunate because they have to now find a place. But it's perfectly legal.
So there's a couple of things that I wanted to bring up about this.
Yeah.
Because and actually maybe you can clear this up for me. From my understanding, you as a landlord can raise it to quote unquote any amount. But if somebody actually takes up the landlord tenant board and puts up a stink about it, to my understanding, you're only allowed to bring it to market value. Not you can raise it any amount, as in you're not capped by the 2.5% guideline, but not to the point where you can just pick a number out of the sky and say it's now worth this.
Yeah, you can.
It's just the issue of getting a hearing and.
Okay, so let's maybe go break it down a little bit deeper because there's nothing in real estate is black and white. There's always these little gray areas that need a little bit more finessing and explaining what exactly is happening here. So if you live in a house or a condo built after 2018, there is no cap on rent. You could increase the rent to whatever you decide as a landlord. This is something Doug Ford introduced, and he did it as a way to incentivize developers to build more.
Yep.
So you have to be very careful and accept the fact that your rent can go up by really whatever amount the landlord says. I'm unaware that you have to go to the landlord tenant board to approve that. Yeah. My understanding is the sky's the limit.
Yes. Okay, got it.
And it was my dad who called me freaking out about this. The loyal breakfast TV watcher. He called me at like 8:30. Mark, you're not gonna believe this. There's this thing that landlords can do. They can up the rent by any amount. Like, not entirely true. Only on buildings built after 2018 can they do that. But this is where it gets tricky. Treviso, actually, funny enough, you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, there's 3 towers at Treviso. The first one was completed in 2015, the second in 2017, and the third one in 2019. So phase 1 and 2 are subject to rent control. They can only be increased this year by 2.5%. But if you were renting in phase 3, there is no limit on what a landlord can increase it. A couple things with that. You can only do the increase once every 12-month period, and it can only happen after the first year. And the second thing is, even if you bought in phase 1 or phase 2, if the city has implemented, or if the landlord is facing extreme cost increases, they can go and apply to the landlord tenant board. Maybe that's what you were thinking about.
So no, this is something different.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's right. They can still apply to raise it if they incurred more costs.
That
are I guess
substantial. I think there's a specific word they use. Yeah. And 2023 is one of those years where, as a landlord, you can request an increase above the 2.5 because the property taxes went up more than 5%.
Right.
Should you do it? I mean, I don't know. Everyone's got their own personal situation. Maybe it does make sense to do it, but you have to go to the landlord tenant board and they have to approve that increase. So I don't know. You've heard the headlines. There's like an 8-month delay to get
100%. Yeah.
So I don't know if that really makes
if the process is worth the squeeze.
Yeah. So November 15th is a sweet spot. The building had to be completed after November 15th, 2018.
Something else to note, if we're talking about condo buildings is one thing, but also in single family homes, or if you're doing like a basement unit or a main level unit, it has to have only been rented out after that point. So November 15th is the date. So if it only was lived in as a primary residence for 90% of its life, and then after November 15th, 2018, it got flipped, it also fits in the category.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
And this is where I think a good learning tip comes in. If you're working with your realtor and you're doing a rental, ask that question. When was it built? Am I going to be excluded from the rent caps that apply to everything else?
Yeah.
Because that might make it more incentivizing for you to be in a little bit of an older building because you're subject to the rent cap.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now if you're working with us as an investor of a condo or house, you might only want to be looking at buildings built after 2018 so you don't have the rent cap. It sucks. It's not fair, man. I don't think like there should be like maybe whatever the yearly rate increases. This year it's 2.5.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a max of 10% over that. So 12.5.
Right.
So you're still a little bit more advantageous than the older buildings, but not the sky's the limit.
No, it's too risky. And we're in always too much of inventory pinch for it to not be like a dangerous thing to play with. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
No. No, you mentioned it can only be raised every 12 months and the fact that you need to give 90 days notice.
I didn't mention that. So good on you for bringing that up.
Yeah. So 2 rules, even if you can raise it as much as you want. One is that it needs to be within a 12-month period. Like you can't raise it before 12 months.
Yeah.
If it was raised today, you'd need to wait the full 12 months out. Second thing is the landlord needs to give you 90 days notice before that actually officially takes effect. You as a tenant are allowed, if you're on a month-to-month contract, you're allowed to give 60 days notice to leave. So if something does come up where you just can't make it, you have the opportunity to walk away.
Good advice. I like that. We're gearing up for episode 25.
Yeah, we are.
We have one more to go and then we're going to hit 25.
That's right.
So 25 is the episode where we're just going to do all these crazy tasks. I mean, there's not many, but we're going to do however long. You're going to eat anchovies. I'm going to have espresso coffee from Tim Hortons. I think we're going to get arancini balls from Loblaws in honor of Alex Wong.
Okay, yeah.
Is there any other?
Well, we can't do the pickle juice yet.
No, that's end of the year.
End of the year.
Yeah.
What else did we do? We talked about the treadmill at one point.
No, we're not
bringing a treadmill in here.
Oh, hot sauce.
Hot sauce. Yeah,
my dad's hot sauce. I'm going to bring that in. Anything you want to bring in?
I don't know. I feel like I should bring it.
Think about it. Yeah. But what I also want to do is I'm going to post it up on the Instagram. We're going to do like an AMA, Ask Me Anything.
Okay.
So we're getting a bunch of questions and we're just going to randomly, like, I'll ask people to ask us questions for me and for you, and then we'll ask them to each other.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll have to provide answers.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. All right.
Because I feel like we're going to fly through these challenges.
It's going to be like the first 5 minutes.
I'd either have to run to the bathroom or like just be staring weirdly at the camera. So we might as well get some questions answered.
All right. I like that. Yeah.
We didn't talk about food. Did you eat anywhere good?
Only Dan's wedding.
Oh, and the food was great.
The food was so good. Yeah. We went to Eglinton Grand. We didn't really talk about it because
great venue. Yeah, good venue.
Awesome venue. It's such a cool vibe in there.
Yeah,
and the food was on point.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't really eat anywhere unique, but I've got I've got a baptism coming up on Sunday.
Yeah,
and we're going to not Campagnolo, the new version of Campagnolo. It's across the street. Anyways, they got 100-layer lasagna, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, it's not really 100 layers, but they call it the 100 layers. It's thick.
I was gonna say that's got to be.
No, it's like a book. It's like an old school Bible. Like it's pretty thick, but it's not 100 layers. Then I'm going to Giulietta for our 1-year anniversary dinner.
Okay.
And then I'm not gonna tell you what day, but I am having a birthday in September. I'm not telling you the day. And the wife is taking me somewhere mysterious to eat. So I'm excited for that.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, she won't tell me where, but...
Okay, we're going to hear about it in the next one then.
I hope it's the Mandarin.
The next one.
I just want to go to the Mandarin. That's all I really enjoy going to. But I don't know. She's really creative with that, so I'm sure we're going to go somewhere pretty good.
I love that.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Perfect.
Episode 23.
Episode 23. Oh, do we want to talk about, actually, right before we wrap up?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not following the format.
I know, we kind of went on. Yeah, it's okay.
Listings?
Listings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lay it on us. What do we got?
All right. So we are relisting my grandmother's place.
Nona's house.
Amazing. Nona's house is up again. We're up at $9.99 officially. Nice. We are taking offers on this one. It's going to be on Tuesday next week.
Yep.
Loved home, man.
How much what's the price at?
$9.99.
And where's it located?
So it's central Mississauga.
Nice.
It's right by Heartland Center, minutes to Square One. It's like located in such a solid spot. It's on a quiet crescent as well. Big pie lot. So it's got like a huge backyard, plenty of space for like a pool if you were to take that venture.
Nice.
4-bedroom, 4-bath.
Finished basement?
Finished basement. It's got some old school to it.
I like it.
But yeah, it's definitely like, you can tell it was taken care of.
I've not seen this in person, but my bet is the grout lines are as clean as the day it was laid. Yeah, fine. Italian, Portuguese, those European houses, I always like have a soft spot for them when I walk into one. You know you're getting a solid, well taken care of home. And it sounds like that's what you guys got here.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. And what's the address?
831 Savoy Crescent.
Savoy Crescent. All right. Get in touch with us if you want to check that out.
Yeah.
I've got the Candy Factory still up. I'm getting quite a bit of activity. It's going quite well. We got 20 Tubman up. That's the 1-bedroom plus den starter. Also quite busy.
Yep.
And we are relisting the penthouse.
Okay.
Yeah. Price is getting cut.
Okay.
We're going under 2 million.
Get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a great deal.
Yes, it is.
You can look on the history of 39 Roehampton. There's 3 other sales significantly higher than this. And this is the true penthouse, top level, beautiful views, all that fun stuff. So we're going sub 2 million. We're also going to put it up for rent. Okay. Not going to be cheap, $12K a month.
Okay.
But you've seen it. It's 3 bedrooms. It's gorgeous.
The views they still are like baffling when you get up there.
We'd still prefer to sell it, but we have to be a little bit flexible with where the market's at. Mm-hmm. And so our strategy is put it up for rent. If we can't put it up for sale and for rent, and if we can't sell it, we'll rent it for a year and then try again and see where the market's at.
That's it. Yeah.
So
amazing.
That's what I got.
What a steal.
Do we have anything coming to market?
Coming up.
Yeah, I know. We just got to sell these things, right?
Yeah, I think we're on the selling train right now.
All right. I like it. Cool.
Right.
Episode 20. Oh, one last thing. You are doing a trailer pull tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
I got I'm rested up.
Good.
Okay. I'm going to have my my beauty rest tonight so that
I like it.
Coming with my chucks tomorrow.
Ooh.
I'm going to pull a truck in chucks.
I'm excited for the next podcast to hear all about that. There's about 15 sagers.
Yeah, that's right.
Realtors of Sage Real Estate. You guys are going down raising money for Second Harvest, I believe.
Yeah, Second Harvest.
That's awesome. And you're pulling a trailer.
We're pulling a trailer.
Okay. I'm going to come by and give some support before. I can't stay for the actual pull, but if this happens again, I'm definitely in.
Yeah. We'll start strength training. When do you want to? Let me know your schedule.
I need to get training, man. My stomach is not. Yeah, I got to work on this. All right, that's it. Episode 23.
Episode 23. All right.
Cool. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.